Hi, my name is Varun Jaitley, and I am going to be doing a video response to my third essay, the Look at Generations and Me essay, where I interviewed an individual in my life who I thought I could connect to using their background and their life. So, I interviewed a gentleman named Jack Barnes who runs a website called btfd.org. Very interesting individual. He's had a lot of projects in his life that have contained different number of challenges, and he's a very driven, very entrepreneurial individual. So one of the things I learned about interviewing and questioning in general was it's I don't know, this is more of a personal thing, but I found that when interviewing you want to start off with a question and then make it sort of a conversation. That way the because the person will answer your question, but as you make it into a conversation, sort of add on little tidbits of questions onto your interview, it becomes a more of a fluid, explanation. They start going deeper into, their things. They start remembering things. They start getting more into themselves as they're having this conversation about experiences that you're asking about. So I felt like when interviewing and questioning, ask them a question, but then build a build 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 a conversation out of it. So the person I interviewed was Jack Barnes. Something I learned about them. Didn't know he grew up on a farm. Didn't know about his childhood. I knew he had some affiliation with Forbes. I did not know he was mentioned in Forbes so highly as he was. Um, and it was really interesting hearing about his life and how he came up from where he started and where he is now, and just what he's done in between and his future goals. He's a very motivated, very driven individual. He's constantly moving forward, and I that is something I just I would love to emulate, if anything. So some of the things I admired about him were the fact that he's driven, the fact that he's motivated, and he's always doing something. But he's never done growing. He's an individual who's always looking to grow himself, not just make money, but to grow himself in different ways and to really just try different things and just to see, hey, let's try this, let's do this, why can't we do this? I think he's one of those individuals who came up in an age where, opportunities were great, but there were definitely, barriers, and there were definitely, some things that you couldn't do that you can do these days. And these days, with the amount of technology, with the amount of resources we have at hand, that the regular individual has at hand, I think he recognizes that, and I think he sees that, and he knows, with what I have, I can build so much, and I admire that. I think it's a really cool thing, and I would love to emulate that. After interviewing him, I've realized how forward thinking he is, and I knew he worked with a group of individuals before, but I didn't know he was how much work he had done when he was younger, and I really admire that he, especially regarding his education. If you watch the interview, he talks about how he didn't go to school just for a piece of paper for a diploma, but he went to actually learn, and that's not just a talking point. That he was actually being serious because of all the ways that he did actually go to different schools just to take different classes and learn about different things. Um, I didn't learn much more about myself in the interview, other than the fact that you know I would love to emulate his the way he did certain things, and I think that's about all I learned about myself. Didn't really learn anything much about myself. The difference between the generations, I think, are pretty obvious here. I grew up coddled, and I was not I did not have to deal with the hardships or with the not even hardships, but just the intensity of growing up in that era came with. At a young age, he was given responsibilities that if you gave a kid today, you'd probably get in trouble for giving your kid like that much responsibility, and you probably wouldn't be allowed to give him that much responsibility anyways. And I think that's proof as to how the older generations are still innovating or still moving the industry forward, even though they're innovative, bright young minds. It's the older generation that's behind us, pushing us, because they know, like they grew up they they grew up with responsibilities and with a drive that you can't instill in children today unless you give them responsibilities. And I think that shows how kids are not just auditory learners. They're not just they don't just learn through text and through being told, you have to do this, you have to be responsible. I think giving them responsibilities and letting them take the wheel sometimes will, it builds a kind of character that will only add or only benefit them exponentially later on in life. Um, I used pi a lot in my essay, basically because I would write something. I would write a paragraph about Jack. I would explain what he said in the interview, and then I would say and then I definitely emphasized the explaining point. I definitely went in depth and explained a lot about what I was writing, about what was going on in the interview, and explaining the connection between his generation and my generation, or the differences. So I definitely think the E part becomes very important to me, or something I like to underline more often. As a writer, I think I could work on the P and the I, if anything, keeping the point straight and keeping it in the right part of the essay, making sure that the point is in the beginning of the essay rather than the middle or the end, and maybe giving a little bit more information, adding a little bit more content. So I need to definitely add information boosting as a step, and I need to improve the the body of my essays. I think proofreading is something I need to improve on. I've worked on it in this essay, and